We're live, that hashtag show with Quest for Player 2. Jessica is in the house. I am Joe. We have yet to miss an episode. I'm pretty proud of us.
I'm proud of us, too. I thought our schedules were not going to align, but they did, and I'm happy to be here.
We have some sad news to report today.
Yep.
Well, I guess it happened yesterday. Stan Lee passed away. Everybody knows that. If you were living under a rock, then you wouldn't know about it, but it sucks. We're going to go more in-depth about this on other shows, and I'm sure this is going to be a big part of the shows. We met Stan together with Daniel, and you had an awkward experience with Stan.
Yep, that same day went to a hotel, SLS, still dressed as Harley Quinn, not realizing it was a black tie event.
But in your credit, it was also Halloween.
It was Halloween night. Stan Lee was there. I think I said hello again. He was just kind of tired and out of it. I'll give him that. It was a long day.
Did he say anything to you?
No, he wasn't rude or anything. He was just polite and he was quiet.
I think I've met Stan Lee like 4 times.
He's sweet. I like his voice.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know.
I don't want to mimic it because I don't know if it's
No, don't mimic it. How was meeting him though? Every time
was great.
Special.
I mean, they were cool, but like you have to take into account like he's an older dude.
And that's what I'm saying. He's quiet. He's not.
I mean, it depends on when you catch him too, because he could be really active.
Sure.
But then he can also be really kind of like just low key.
Yeah, at 95, I wouldn't expect your energy.
You made a great point, and this kind of ties into Quest for Player 2. You think he died of a broken heart?
I do. I really do. Well, the timeline made sense because him and his wife were a year apart. I told you guys when we were streaming live, my great-grandparents were 8 months apart. And yeah, I just think when you lose your will to live, this is my belief, when you lose your will to live, your body registers that and it takes care of itself. I really do think that you can check out mentally when you get to that age.
I agree. I mean, I think that like once you kind of give up on anything, not anything, but something you really care about, it does affect you. It affects your will. I think it affects your will on a lot of things, and I think that kind of sucks. Oh, man, I forgot. This isn't old. I think this is even before we took that picture with him.
Yeah, I think so. Look at his cute face, Stanley.
I love that kid that would always cosplay as Stan Lee. Did you guys ever see that kid that would always cosplay as Stan Lee?
What?
It's like a little kid that would cosplay as him.
That's actually probably more creative.
It was amazing.
Aww.
And I love that Stan Lee would always wear like his members only jacket. Like it was, he had a very distinct style.
I feel like he was always in beige though. He was always.
It was always. Matter of fact, he's wearing it in this picture.
That's what I'm
right
saying.
Here.
He's muted beige colors. There's a picture over there of Mike at the Comic Bug with him, and he's again wearing beige, khaki, and white.
Wouldn't that be great? Well, you think he's wearing the same jacket, but he just has a row in his closet of beige jackets.
Like Mr. Rogers, just all of them lined
he's
up.
Like, hey, see, yeah, I could. That would be great. That'd be hilarious. But Stan Lee, I think what kept him so youthful, and I think the biggest, like we all knew he was older, but the biggest shock wasn't that he was older. The biggest shock that he had such a grand personality that you just assumed he was going to live forever.
He did feel that way.
Yeah, he didn't feel kind of like an old man. Like there's a lot of old folks that I see, and he was pretty active for a 95-year-old.
Yeah.
And he knew how to turn it on. He still had that charm.
I mean, there's some young celebrities that I'm like, ooh, they're going down a weird path. I don't know if this is going to last. But Stan Lee was one of those people I never really worried about.
Like Betty White.
Yeah, like, exactly. They're just the Energizer Bunny.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me. But
rest in peace.
Ooh.
Cheers.
Cheers, Stan Lee. Rest in peace. And he gave everybody everything. Matter of fact,
Stan Lee is the reason I got into hosting.
Was
because you had me on the show, and if it wasn't for the show that's based on geek pop culture, I'm making a stretch here,
sure,
but I'm going to give him that credit.
So here's a fun fact that actually ties more directly to us. When we were just first starting out, and we covered one of our first cons, Stan Lee was gracious enough to let us interview him for one of our very first interviews. So had it not been for Stan Lee's graciousness, we possibly might not have been here. There's like 3 people that were super instrumental in helping us during those early days. Stan Lee being one of them, John Barrowman being another one, and Steve Cardenas from the Power Rangers being another one. But fun fact. But we also got a super chat from Toku Kid.
Nice, Toku
Wasn't
Kid.
there BS with his daughter treating him badly? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There was a lot of deceit and a lot of things that happened later on in his life with
his daughter?
There's a lot of rumor and innuendo out there, but there was definitely rumors about his daughter, his like security manager or somebody, his handler. Yeah, a lot of people in his older years were taking advantage of him because he was older.
That blows.
It does.
That's actually really disappointing to hear. I didn't know that.
It does, but you know what? For every negative thing that you hear about that, there's so many other people with positive stories about the guy.
Yeah.
And I actually would suggest that everybody really learn more about Stan Lee, because I know that a lot of people think that, oh, wow, this guy that just created all this stuff. There's a lot more to it than that. Like, in Dave Baker, if you know Dave Baker, he talks all about it. But there's a lot more to it than that, and it's really interesting how Stan Lee got to the top and stayed on top. And for me, it's kind of like, not only was he creative, but he was a hustler.
Oh, yeah.
Stan Liebowitz, or Stan Lieber, he was a hustler. All right, now we talked about Stan. We do have to take care of a little business. You already know what the Super Chat is, because Toku Kid just used it. The Super Chat feature, yes, thank you, Toku. The Super Chat feature helps support the show. All you got to do is hit that Super Chat feature, and you will get your comment featured, as Jessica and I will answer most of all questions that you have for us.
Oh, yeah.
And also, Toku Kid, he's also one of our writers for Hashtag Show. He just wrote a great piece yesterday about some Common Writer stuff. So you can check out Toku Kid's work
Nice.
at thathashtagshow.com. And if you
Awesome.
want to find out more about how to be a writer, send us a question at ths@thathashtagshow.com. We will answer everything you need to be a part of our wonderful community. Now, let's get into this. Now, the reason we brought this subject up about breakups, first of all, in the chat, this is what you call engagement. How many of you have either broken up with somebody or have gotten broken up with, and how did that go? Because I think that this is one of those things in a relationship where there is no right or wrong way to do this.
Agreed. It's very specific. But then again, a lot of people have a lot of similar situations, similar circumstances, because the reactions are usually the same.
There's another super chat by Larry. Snow in fall season. Welcome to Missouri.
Nice.
Not in California, though I was just in Philly and it was freezing.
Yeah.
It was cold.
Not missing the snow.
Yes.
Yep.
So, breaking up. Now, this is a scenario which most of every person's going to go through in their life. I do want to navigate the waters because they can get murky. They can also cause a lot of emotion, a lot of stress. And sometimes, I feel like sometimes breaking up, if you're the one doing it, it's almost like when you're in high school and you didn't study for that test and you don't want to take it. Because it's like, sometimes you're just going to have to do it. You're just going to have to do it.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about some strategies for breaking up, and let's talk about when's the right time to break up. Let's start there.
Yeah.
We talked about timing last week, but we'll talk about that. So when's the right time to break up?
I think, in my experience, the right time to break up has always been when you have exhausted all your options together. Meaning, if there's problems in the relationship that you both are feeling and finding to be true, you tackle those. You bring them up. You try to work on them. If you're not seeing change and you both are unhappy, or at least one of you are unhappy, and it's not an equal partnership, that's usually been the time where I was always like, this isn't going to work. It's usually one of us falling out of the relationship a little bit before the other, or the same fights over and over and over, and there's no resolution.
What's the remedy for that? What's the remedy for having the same fight over and over and over?
If it's important enough, it'll put a wedge between you two and tear you apart.
Or compromise.
Or compromise. I'm not saying you're not going to fight. Being in a relationship, of course you're going to disagree. But I'm talking about specific problems in the relationship that are not being solved because either the person's not willing to change, doesn't know how, can't, won't, whatever. Or myself, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of non-negotiables. When my non-negotiables are being negotiated, when somebody's pushing my buttons, when I keep saying these are my values, why can't you respect them? That's usually when I threw in the towels when I was unhappy.
Hey, this is Toku Kid. This is another, I guess, a reason to break up. He said that he had been cheated on and they wanted to fix it, but he was done and just left them behind entirely. Now, that is a reason that would cause a lot to break up. Now, but let's talk about this though.
Yes,
it's
let's
not
talk about
always
that.
black and white.
It's not, and I will say from firsthand, I've been cheated on and I've been back with that person.
I've been there too, actually.
It's very easy to...
But I don't think I would do it now.
100% no. And I think a lot of it had to do with, you justify, right? So if somebody cheats on you, you're like, well, how far'd you go? And if it's not full-blown sex, in my mind, I was like, it was a drunk mistake. You know what I mean? You justify their behavior because you don't want the relationship to end. So you'll do anything in your power to talk yourself... This is for me. I did everything in my power to talk myself back into it. And it was just an unhealthy relationship. Toxic, maybe.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's exactly kind of how that starts. But I think the key to all this, the key to that exactly is kind of like having the self-awareness and kind of self-confidence just to walk away from something like that.
It's 100%.
However, just because you got cheated on, I'm not necessarily. It sounds kind of weird, but I want to say that sometimes it can be a gray area.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Well, because here's the thing. You get cheated on, that you're devastated. It doesn't mean your feelings go away. My love just doesn't dissipate because you hurt me. It's still there. So you want to make things work because the love is there and you know that person and you want to at least try to work through it. I can understand why people want to work through that. I mean, what was your experience in that?
When I got cheated on, the reason I justified it was because we weren't actually in a official relationship.
So
it was like a gray area.
Yeah.
So I felt in my head, maybe I shouldn't be as mad as I am, but I was. I was pretty pissed off.
Fair enough. Because I get that.
So I don't know, when you're kind of in that mindset, it's like, are you right or wrong? Am I right or am I wrong? And that to me is the gray area. However, now I would have just left because there's no reason. I don't think you have to put yourself through all this kind of trials and tribulations if you don't see yourself in a higher regard, I feel like. And especially now, I'd be gone.
Nowadays, yes. Although, do you think it's wrong if there is some type of cheating, whether it's whatever it is, there's another sexual thing happening? Is it wrong for somebody to want to work it out, especially as life gets complicated with kids, marriage, blah blah blah? I know that's not what we're talking about, but I'm just in general.
No, I agree with you. I think I think you're onto something there because then what do you do?
Right.
How do you, because you have a whole family on the line, do you do it for the kids?
Yeah.
Are you doing it for a bigger reason, right? Mm-hmm. That makes it very difficult. I don't know. See, this is why this conversation or this subject is so interesting. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do this, and there's no right or wrong time to do this. Obviously, if you're in an abusive relationship, then you definitely want to leave.
100%.
But even then, some people stick around. And
that's just layered.
It is, yeah. It's like an onion. But let's talk surface level first before we get into that. I want to know. Let's just go based on this. Are you usually the person that breaks up with somebody, or somebody that always gets dumped?
In my past, I've been the one doing the breaking up.
Is there a specific reason why? Do you get bored easily?
No.
You just don't feel connections like that?
No, I get attracted to a specific type of person, and what I'm attracted to is not what I want in the relationship. To give you an example, I'm attracted to the dark person. I'm attracted to the person in the corner that doesn't talk, that you kind of have to figure out. I'm attracted to the person with no friends. I'm attracted to the person who, for lack of better words, is dangerous. I know is not good for me. And so there's something about that I get to know, and then we connect on whatever it is, whether it's our hurt, whether it's our creative side, whatever it is. There's something about that I'm attracted to, but I know long term they don't hold the same core values that I do. So, meaning they're good temporarily, where we've worked temporarily, but long term, that's not the person I want to marry. That's not the person I want to have my kids with. So.
But you do want kids.
Yeah, I think, eventually I would like, not anytime soon, but yes, eventually.
As Jordan is
anyway.
Oh boy.
So in the past, it's, all of my relationships have had an expiration date.
So are you basically into the introvert? Not introverted, but just kind of like more that dark, mysterious, brooding type.
Yes. And it doesn't really matter. And I've come to find out it really doesn't matter what they look like either. It's literally more of a feeling. And
I've known people to want to be that role. Like they were super fake. Like Josh knows him as well. But that wanted to play like this role. And you actually know him too. We'll talk about it off air. But
okay,
that actually like tried to play up this kind of like role because he thought that's what people liked or that's what girls liked. And then so for me, I'm automatically, if you're that kind of person, I'm very quick to just be like, cool, that's just one less person I have to talk to.
Well, nowadays that's exactly what I do, and hence why I'm marrying the opposite. But for a while, as a kid, when you're just, between 18 and 25, I was just trying to figure it out. I didn't realize I was latching onto these guys and trying to morph them into what I thought I wanted in a relationship. You can't change people.
Yeah, for me,
that was what I was trying to do, and it was really unfair.
I am not the guy. If somebody feels, if it's kind of like I gotta figure you out, no thanks.
Oh, see, I was like, oh, I loved that. I was like, there was something about it that was really attractive to me.
So I feel like there's different archetypes, and everybody kind of falls into them, right? I think everybody kind of falls into an archetype, whether or not they like to admit it. I know for myself, I am not the dark, brooding guy. I'm just not that
clearly.
guy.
Yeah.
I am the...
I consider you a leader. I call them leaders.
I am the guy that...
You walk into a room, you own it, you're confident, you're loud.
I'm not loud.
Well, right now you are.
Not loud. But I definitely think that, like, one thing that I just, it's, to me, it's like, why, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So it always kind of, and especially if you're trying to be that for a specific reason, I just thought it was stupid. So when this person would kind of be like, oh, I'm not going to go out with everybody, like, I'm just going to do my own thing. It was more so to get everybody to be like, hey, no, come on, we all want you to
that's different.
For
You
me,
can
I
see
was
through
like,
that.
cool, I'm out. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not going to spend time wasting time here because of
Right,
this.
I'm not going to convince you.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's me. But I think, all right, so here's a good question from David Scott. How many breakups have you been through?
Real breakups, like from a hardcore relationship, 3.
Real breakups.
Flings, probably a handful, maybe 3 of those flings. But they weren't intense because there was no really emotion attached, if that makes sense. So I would say 3 real ones. What about you?
I think 3 also. Mm-hmm. But maybe 2 real ones that I actually cared about. Some I just didn't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I guess I've been
that's
through
what I'm saying.
a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of breakups, but I'm also the one that would also get broken up with, but through my own means. Whereas I would kind
Where
of
you
want it to
ghost
happen.
them?
I didn't ghost anybody, but I know when a relationship is kind of ending.
Yep,
Because-
there's Joe.
Because I kind of I care a lot less.
Yes.
Like, and it's just kind of like, man, when I see your number on the phone and I feels like a chore to pick it up,
Yes.
that's when I know I'm done. I'm out.
That is so funny you say that. When I was in 8th grade, I had my first pseudo boyfriend, and by that I just meant we talked on the phone for like, I don't know, 2 days a week, and he bought me like Bed Bath & Beyond lotion. And I remember he would call me, and same thing. I know I was in 8th grade, so who cares? But when I saw his number, actually it was a cord phone. You know, remember those? So I'd pick it up, and I'm like, damn it, I didn't know it was you. And then he just talks to me about snowboarding, and finally I was like, yeah, I just want to be friends with you. Wasn't a real breakup, but I know that feeling of not wanting to talk.
Well, and then like
Moral of
other
the
times
story.
I would I know exactly. And other times I would put myself in certain situations where I knew I was going to get broken up with, and that way I was like, well, they're good. I don't have to do it. Like, I don't have to be the bad guy. Like, I remember
I've never done that.
There was this one girl that I was dating, and me and my ex-girlfriend were like, oh no, we weren't together. But she knew that I had just gotten out of a relationship, kind of.
Uh-huh.
But I took a picture with her, like, because we were, like, hanging out. And I took a picture with her.
You did that on purpose.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
just so she's like, oh, yeah, like, I can't believe you did that, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, you know, we shouldn't even be together. I was like, okay. And that was it. I was like, all right. I got out of this one. I know. It's not, hey, guys, out there, not
Yeah.
a great move. We're learning.
As I say, not as I do.
This is not wisdom. This is more of I guess this would be, like, the dumb things that I would do. This
is the important part. May only work for Joe.
Yeah, this is the situations of why I'm on this show exactly, because I absolutely did not handle that right.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. But I do want to talk about how not to break up with somebody, because obviously I clearly did that wrong.
I did that once.
Did what? You did what I did?
No.
What'd you do? Break with somebody wrong?
No. I called my ex at the time we were dating. I called him.
boy.
I was in college, and he lived like 30 minutes away, so we saw each other a few days a week. And I called him. I was like, hey, I want you to come over. I need to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. He's like, what is it? I'm like, don't worry about it. I would just rather talk to you in person. He drove 35 minutes in a snowstorm to my
God.
college dorm, which I didn't realize was like
That's
disrespectful.
fucked up.
I didn't realize it was so disrespectful.
You risked his life.
Because in my mind, I was like, I'm the good person because I'm doing it in front of your face. I thought a phone call would be tacky. I guess I could have waited the next day, but I had a lot of anxiety. I was a nervous Nelly.
Now that you say that, though, I do get your point, because you were it was bad either way.
It was the era of the text message breakup. It was 2010, 11, 10. And so, yeah, I thought I was doing the right thing.
Etiquette, man.
I was so wrapped up in my own feelings, I was selfish, and I just didn't realize that is a really disrespectful thing to do. And when I broke up with him, he literally was, obviously he was hurt, but then he was like, you made me drive to you in a snow. He said this. You made me drive to you in a snowstorm so you can break up with me. And I was like, yeah, I thought I was being respectful. He's like, no, that's not respectful. That is actually the opposite of respectful. And so that was it was very eye-opening.
That's a good story, though.
So yeah, that was a no-go. So don't
Don't make somebody
people go out of your way.
drive through a fucking snowstorm.
I should have drove to
because
him.
it will not pay off.
No, it will not.
That is not a good idea.
And you will feel really bad about yourself after.
That is terrible. Yeah, well, I feel bad for him now. I don't even know who this guy is. I don't think I've ever done anything.
I was just so unaware. That's the sad part. Like, I was that unaware. Like, anyways, must have had a lot on my mind.
I think the worst I ever broke up with somebody's like through a text. Like,
that
hey,
is bad.
This isn't working out. And then it was just like this long paragraph of like why I was wrong. And then I just wrote K. And that was it.
I hate the K. I hate a K.
Well, give
me anything other than a K.
She should have been happy that emojis weren't invented by then, because I would have just put random
this.
Emojis. Like, thumbs up, thumbs up, smiley face,
and this.
dark cloud. Like, it would have been like, I wouldn't have known what to do.
Or this, woo.
Yeah, or the prayer thing.
Right.
Like, sorry, prayer thing.
K.
But who knows? Yeah, K, prayer thing.
That's what's up.
Yeah, kids nowadays, you have so many creative ways to break up with somebody.
Oh, you could do it through emojis. You literally could if you wanted to.
Like, hey, decipher this emoji.
Me, and then it's like the girl like this.
Now we're turning somebody's tragedy into a joke.
No kidding. It's ours. It's fine.
Anyway, though, I do think that there are obviously wrong ways to do this. What are some other wrong ways to do this?
Doing it in a...
After sex. Worst.
After sex, being disrespectful about it, meaning not being careful of their feelings, like insulting them while you're doing it, like adding salt to the wound. So instead of sitting them down and being calm and being like, listen, it's like, F you did this, it's done, like having anger behind it.
Well,
I think it needs to be more of like an adult calm, like, listen, I want to explain to you why this isn't working, mature.
Yeah.
You know?
Like when people yell at me, I just tune out.
Oh, also don't do it in a fight. When you're in the middle of a fight is horrible.
And then I hate, that it's the worst.
That's my MO. And I'm like, it's over. And then 20 minutes later, I'm like, so do you want to
We have a phone call. We have a phone call. But before we take that, I just want to address Layla's real quick. She says, Joe, that's the easiest way to get cursed out. Never put K. Well, listen, if you just curse me out through text message, I just put K again.
Thank you.
But that's the way I would solve that problem. But let's take this call. Who do we got? Who do we got on the line?
Never do a K.
Look at this guy.
Jess in the house.
Hey, so did you ever watch The Office?
Of course.
Jezzer was at the building where he was at the office yesterday.
In Scranton?
Yeah. No, in Panorama City.
A nice musician. Who would have thought?
And he has tattoos.
He does. And he's got a highway patrolman mustache at the moment. And we're loving it.
We're back. Jessica was just telling us a great story about Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah. I thought he was very attractive for a long time. Still do. But, you know, we're not going to go there.
That is kind of crazy. You know what? I have a type, too. I like the girl next door.
Really?
I know. It's surprising, right?
Who?
You know what I had a huge crush on? You probably wouldn't know who she is, but Clara from Doctor Who, Jenna Louise Coleman, and British girls.
British girls.
Actually,
who's
ethnic-looking
Tom Cruise
girls
married
as
to?
well. Not Katie Holmes. I don't
feel
know
like
who
you would
Tom
like.
Cruise is
I
married
feel like
to.
you would like
Katie
Holmes.
Holmes. No.
She's girl next door.
No, not Katie Holmes-ish.
Kate Hudson-ish?
No, I don't like her either.
Oh, she's beautiful.
I like ethnic-looking girls. I also like
Eva Mendes.
Yes.
Okay, me too.
But yeah. Anyway, we're talking about breakups.
Great.
Let's continue on to this. Now, we talked about how not to break up with somebody.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have terrible stories. We're terrible people.
We
when it comes
really
to that.
are.
We also want to hear your terrible stories.
Yeah, type them
about
in.
breaking up.
I want to hear it.
Thomas Franco said the audio worked for him the whole time.
Oh, shit.
I doubt it. Let's talk about how you should break up with people.
All right. I think. We have a new caller. Should we go to
Saved by
that?
the bell.
Saved by the bell. Bring him in. Hey, Jonathan.
Wow. Did you
Hey,
just
guys.
wake up?
No. I've been awake. No, I didn't just wake up. I was
Should've
literally,
just
I'm
said
sitting here.
yes. You should have just said yes.
Such an ass.
Nah, I'm just a little nervous about this topic because basically I've never been through a breakup because I never had a girlfriend before. So I'm basically
Jonathan,
like.
Let me ask you this: when Daniel came from the future and talked to his younger self, which was you, did he give you any advice?
And to that I say, I love you too, Joe.
So no, I'm assuming.
Good answer.
I'm assuming he
Jonathan.
didn't give you advice. So let me ask you a question. Since you've
Sure.
never been in a relationship, the breakup part, I mean, hasn't even happened yet. So it's almost kind of like eating a dessert before the meal. You know what I mean? So is that something that you're afraid of, or what, or something you're not looking forward to?
here's the thing, because I'm someone that likes to make sure that I'm on perfect terms with every single person I meet, and I don't want to screw things up. And literally, sometimes if I'm, meeting someone, or like heck, even a girl, if I'm starting into a relationship with someone, in the back of my mind, I always have like, don't screw this up. Just do not screw this up. And sometimes when I'm talking with someone, I could get, curious. I play the 21 questions game or anything.
Oh my
Sometimes I
God,
don't like to
Daniel did
dive
too.
into.
No, this is not even a joke. I'm dead serious about this. This
Oh,
is eerily weird.
what do you mean?
Go on.
You know what I always told myself? I always told myself if I saw Daniel in the past, I would tell him one thing. And I'm going to tell him right now.
Oh
Because this is
Lord.
Daniel in the past, younger Daniel.
Just bear with us, Jonathan.
You don't have to have sex to get married, young Daniel. Just listen to me. Other way around. You don't have to get married to have sex, young Daniel. Listen to me.
Joe.
All right, my deed is done. I did it.
All right, wait. I got
Goal
a few things to
accomplished.
say. All right, finish your thought though. I want to hear with the.
Yeah,
were
so
saying.
as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted.
The deed is done.
um, I I I tend to play the whole 21 questions game and everything. What this person does for a living, like what do they do, yada 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 yada. I don't like to try to delve into their past without their permission. I mean, unless with their permission, if it's okay to ask questions about their past or anything. But other than that, for me, I like to make sure like nothing comes in between that. I mean, yes, there's no such thing as a perfect relationship, but me, I like to be, a perfectionist and make sure everything is stable and balanced and nothing bad happens.
All right. Jonathan, you and I are very similar. Number one, we both like to be on good terms with everybody. That's because we don't want to not be liked or at least be respectful.
Doesn't Daniel do the same thing?
You're ragging.
Continue.
So, as far as that goes, there's going to be times you may not even go through a breakup. Your first one may be one and done. Who knows? But let's say it's not. They're going to have ill feelings towards you at least for a little while. Sometimes they pass, sometimes they don't. And that is part of being in a relationship,
Unless
is
it's
taking that
completely
risk.
mutual.
Unless it's completely mutual, which does happen.
Which is rare, though.
It's rare, but it happens. And number two is you're always going to mess up. Really. I mean, in a relationship especially. I mean, you're talking about life partner, right? So you're talking your lowest lows and your highest highs. That person is ride or die by your side. They're going to see you at your worst moments, at your angriest moments, at your happiest moments. So you're going to mess up. You're going to say things you don't mean. You're going to do things that you didn't want to do to them or say to them.
And you're going to annoy them, and they're going to annoy you.
You're going
It's
to
a
piss
fact.
them off just for breathing. You know what I mean? It's one of those, don't try to make that a perfection.
We're not trying to deter you from not getting into a
No,
relationship.
not at all. I want to let you know that in a relationship, if something goes wrong or you have a fight or whatever, please don't think that you're doing something wrong necessarily. It's two people trying to make life work, and sometimes you just need to talk it out or discuss or get on the same page. I call it getting on the same page. If you guys could just be almost like a friend, like before the relationship, as a friend level, let's get on the same page about this. This is bothering me. It's all about how you talk to each other. I used to yell. I was a screamer. That's how I learned to fight. But through having mature relationships, they've taught me, hey, you can talk like a human and then I'll still respect you. You don't have to yell louder. I can still hear you. You know what I mean? So you're going to mess up. You're going to say things, but you're a nice guy. They're going to know your intentions. And you're not, when you meet somebody, there's no way that you can mess up because they're going to feel who you are. They're going to get your essence. So what if you ask a question that offends them? They'll just say, hey, I'm not ready to tell you that yet. Or if you slip up on their words, your person is going to tell you that that's cute. They're not going to be like, oh my God, you're so awkward. They're going to think that's cute. You know what I mean? So your person will feel who you are. There's no messing up with your person. That's what I'm saying.
If it's the right person.
If it's the right person.
But
So
that's also going to take a lot of patience, though. Because you have to, it's not something that just comes so easily. A lot of people think this is, I almost kind of don't like the way that kind of romantic comedies especially are. Because it's not a realistic vision of the way the relationships are. And it's unfortunate because I have a lot of friends that kind of idealize what a relationship is or how a relationship should go or how the way they should act in order to lead up to a relationship.
Or what it's going to feel like
and it's
all
not,
the time.
It's not realistic whatsoever. Yeah. And that's unfortunate, though, because they're great stories to be told, but life, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't.
No matter how much we wish it did.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. But it's all learning. That's all.
Yeah, it is all learning. But thanks for calling in. I hope your play's going well.
We're actually done. We're done with the play, actually.
Done.
We're done.
Oh, good.
Well, we'll talk to you before the time stream slips away, and I'm sure we'll see you again when the time stream happens. Take care.
Don't be afraid, Jonathan.
Take care, young Battlestar Galactica Jr.
I love you too, Joe.
All right, Toku Kid had a super chat for us. He says Scott Pilgrim is the best how to break up movie. You agree? Have you ever seen Scott Pilgrim?
Oh. No, I did not see that.
Good. You know what I would always watch? There's two movies to always watch when you break up. And I want to, because most of the guys, there's guys in the room.
The Breakup?
No. Actually, no. I think one of them is Swingers.
Yep.
You ever seen Swingers? The other one to me is 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, yeah. That's a sad movie.
It's the best breakup movie.
Yeah, that is a sad movie. I'll give you that.
It's such a good break. I remember watching, I was in a relationship. And I remember like putting that movie on, and it instantly made me feel better.
Yeah,
because you really do go through these kind of like steps. Mm-hmm. Whoever wrote that movie was really writing from the heart. You can easily tell. And even in the beginning, it's like says the girl's name. It's like fuck you, like whatever. It's a great movie.
That movie was awesome. I love that movie.
Yes. All right. So let's talk about ideal. Well, let's go back to the breakup situation real quick. Obviously, we know breakups are never usually easy.
There it is.
But are sometimes breakups, are they good? Can breakups be good?
100%. They're always good.
They are always good.
Breakups are never not good.
Well, do you ever have, well, I guess you're getting married, so I guess you wouldn't. But I was going to say, do you ever have a regret that you broke up with somebody that you thought, well, maybe I shouldn't have, or?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Never. Not a hookup, not a breakup,
have regrets.
not nothing.
I do have regrets on the way I handled myself in certain relationships, though.
Oh, I mean, if we have regrets, let me take out my scroll. I have a ton of regrets, but I'm just like things that I've done wrong. But I'm saying, did any of my relationships, do I regret not getting back together with them? No, 100% not.
Oh, no, yeah, but.
Is that what you were talking about?
No, not really.
Oh, things that I've done wrong? Yeah, of course. Please.
Well, look, I'll tell you. Like, so remember, like a few weeks ago, I said my ex-girlfriend just got into a relationship, and we've been like chatting through Instagram. We're fine. We're friends.
I feel like you're gonna get married.
No, I'm never gonna get married. I don't want to ever get married.
Fine. I feel like she's gonna be your life partner.
I don't ever want to get married. I don't know if like. I think Jim Carrey said it best. Why do you have to?
No, that's what all cynics say. And he was married and divorced.
Well,
so
Jim
fuck
Carrey.
off.
Joe,
I love Jim Carrey.
You learn from
Jim,
experience.
I love you.
How dare you speak ill of the dead?
Only divorced people say that. Like only divorced.
Well, what about
single
George
people.
Clooney? What about George Clooney?
He got married.
All right. Well, before that.
He's married. It doesn't matter.
Let's pre-marriage George Clooney.
What did he say? I don't even know.
He said he was never going to get married because he didn't believe in the institution of marriage, and I don't disagree. What about Jesus Christ?
What about Jesus Christ?
He never got married. He was
a prophet.
with the hooker.
He had bigger fish to
He was
fry.
with the hooker. He never got married to her. Hey,
that's all right.
He didn't put a ring on it. He didn't have to.
I actually didn't believe in
Mary
marriage.
Magdalene was a hooker, right? A prostitute.
Yeah, but we don't know they were.
There's a book. There's a book. It's in one of the books.
I didn't believe in marriage either, but then you meet somebody and you're like, it's happening.
Look, even Spider-Man regretted it, and that's why they had to retcon his life for him not to be married.
Marriage isn't for everybody. I'm not saying that you can have a life partner and not get married. But some people, I don't know. I like the institution of sealing that together. It's not even religious for me. I know marriage is supposed to be religious. I get that. It's more like spiritual, and I get that. But for me, it's that, but it's also the commitment, the life commitment.
I think, but you're very old-fashioned, though.
You're
a Midwest person.
I won't disagree.
I'm a Southern Californian.
Yep. Progressive, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It would take a lot. And then, like, you have to give up half of everything when it doesn't work out. If it doesn't work out, fuck that noise.
I think if you met somebody, here's the thing. If you meet somebody that you really can't see yourself leaving or not working it out with, you will change your mind. I'm telling you, you will change your mind.
Well, look,
you
like
don't
I
have
was saying,
to. I'm just saying.
Like I was saying, so I thought, okay, you know what I think it was that kind of not annoyed me, but definitely bothered me. For me, it was always kind of like a fallback. It was like, oh, if things don't work out, I always have. Then it's like, wait a minute, my safety net's gone. I think in my head, that's what I thought. But in terms of breakups, though, I think that like. I obviously think they're good things because you don't want to be with somebody that you're not meant to be with, and
that doesn't want to be with you.
Yeah, and I've been also in things where they've lasted way longer than I wanted them to, and way longer than I should have been in them. Mm-hmm. And to me, that I can't. I think that's what I get upset with myself with the most, actually, is thinking to myself, like, man, you wasted like 3 extra months of your life.
That doesn't bother me because
I hate it.
because you had to go through those 3 extra months to realize that's not who you want to be with. Otherwise, what if you broke up 3 months prior and then you're like, ooh, did I make a mistake? Like, that's, at least for me, I have no regrets about how long it lasted. Sometimes they were a year too long. But I needed that year to figure out for sure, because I'm one of those anal people that need to know 100% for sure this is not going to work. Because I hate breakups that much.
Yeah.
I really do. Because I haven't dealt with a lot of loss in terms of death. I had 2 close family friends. But other than that, I have everybody in my family. And so for me, it's the equivalent of death.
Breakups?
Yeah.
What?
Because you don't, it's a loss. You don't, it's your best friend. It's your everything. You don't see them. You don't talk to them. You don't hear them. So it's essentially them dying, right? It's the same thing.
They're not dead, though.
They're not dead,
And
but
if you,
what's the
especially
difference?
if you dislike them, like...
Yeah, but your love is still there. Or at least...
I mean, we're throwing the word love around very loosely.
Or your memory of them. You romanticize the good times. That's what happens when you break up. You romanticize all the good things.
I don't think so.
And forget about all the bad things.
I've had some pretty bad relationships where I definitely dwell on the bad things, and it's like, I don't really remember the good things.
Really? Okay, well, I'm super sensitive. So for all you sensitive folk out there, I get it. My breakups last a long time. I cry. They'll be like random cry spells.
It's a celebration for me.
It is a celebration, as it should be. That's a perspective.
It's
But
like
at
life
the
day.
moment, I get really, they're hard. They're hard for me. I don't like hurting other people. I don't like seeing other people hurt. I don't like being hurt. So when it's just a bubble of hurt, that really bothers me.
Okay, let's talk about experience. All right, we've talked about one of your bad breakups from the other person's side, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one of the ones where you've gotten broken up with. But I want you to kind of, let's pretend like it's a sporting event, like a football game.
Sure.
But I want you to run play-by-play and then tell me how that person, whoever it was, should have handled it. Or how you ideally wish they would have handled it.
Okay.
Is that hard?
It is hard because I don't really disagree with the way it went down. So
You don't disagree the way it went down?
Not really.
So you don't disagree with the tactic. I'm talking about, do you have a bad one where somebody had a bad tactic and you're like, this is what he did wrong?
Okay, yeah. I mean, because I have 3 where I broke up with them. Or no, 2 where I broke up with them. 1 that they broke up with me. That was the one where I was dating my best friend from high school. We got together after high school. We were friends for 7 years, dated, didn't work out. Great. I moved to LA. He was in Florida. We were just doing our own thing. Distance, whatever. It didn't work out. Come Christmas time, this is 6 months after I move, he then calls me and is like, listen, this just isn't working. Like, I don't know how long you're going to be in LA. I don't know how long we could do distance. We're just in 2 very different places. And although looking back, I agreed. Although looking back, it was a good thing. In the moment, feeling that rejection or that, like, over the phone, I just got really upset. And I guess I don't disagree with what he was doing looking back. I just wish he would have had a conversation face to face, maybe.
Right.
Like, where we could have actually talked it out and it wasn't this, like, whole, me screaming and him just trying to, like, talk me off the ledge. I wish it was face to face.
Great question. And a super chat from Toku Kid says, did y'all ever break up over super dumb reasons? Yeah. Mm-mm. I've broken up over dumb reasons. I know for a fact that I have.
I think a dumb reason was what started the end of my relationship, yeah. But I don't think we broke up because of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I don't... yes. And I think that I would kind of lean more into what you were saying. But, I mean, I think for me, I've broken up because I knew that the time was coming and I just needed an excuse. So any little thing was going to be the cause of it. And I think one of them was like... It was really stupid. It was like, oh, you can't make up your mind where to eat? I'm done.
Yeah,
it was like something like
that. But that, because you knew it wasn't going to last. So
right.
So, okay, that makes sense.
I think that, back to what you were saying, though, about breaking up, I think it's so interesting because, look, you're more than likely, if you're going to get into a relationship, you're going to go through it at least once. More than likely. I mean, there are people that maybe never do. Those are rare breeds. But a lot of people do. And I think that is something that it teaches you so much, though. And I also think, like, for me, I remember a relationship that I was in. I kind of, it was like a mutual thing, but it was right before, like, New Year's.
Okay.
And I only remember thinking is, why did it take this long? 'Cause I wish I would have, no bullshit, my honest to God thought was this. I wish I'd have done this before Christmas.
Save money on gifts?
Save money on gifts.
I knew it.
I honestly think that. I honestly thought that. And I was
Probably
like,
would have saved you a couple $100.
save me some money.
I also don't want to like
my
put a
first
negative thing. Like, yes, breaking up is negative and sad in the moment, but looking back, whether you're sensitive or not, looking back, would I go back and change anything? No, because like you said, it's growth. You learn what you don't want. Plus, it's kind of like when you break something, and then you mend it back together, it gets a little stronger, like scar tissue.
Sure.
Like you get a little bit more experience.
Oh,
You
that's
learn a little
really
bit
good
more.
analogy.
You get a little stronger, and so you kind of feel like, listen, been through the ringer, and then you know what you do want. It's a lot. You learn a lot about yourself when you're hurting.
Good analogy. Have you also been in? This is a weird one too, and I don't know if this is a competitive thing, but it might be. Have you ever dated two people at the same time? And well, like so let's say one was a relationship, then you're on the breaks and you started dating somebody else. Have you ever had this scenario? And then, even though the first person should have been like, all right, I'm out, they're like, no, now I want you back even more. And it's just like this weird, it escalates. You ever had this in any of these scenarios? I've had that, and it's very...
No, because it's never gotten to the point. When I've been interested in two different people, it's only been like 1 or 2 dates, and then I know where I stand with one of them.
Oh, see, I let it go on.
Oh, no. I don't like that. I don't like dating 2 to 3 different people at the same time.
But I've been on both sides of that fence, though. I've been on both sides of that fence. And I think the only reason I was on the fence with competing with another guy is because, honestly, I don't think I cared about the girl as much as I just don't like losing.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I know, but this is why we're having this conversation. It's the truth, though. How many people out there actually like losing? I hate losing. Anybody that knows me knows I hate losing.
Okay, maybe that's fair enough, because I'm sure from a male's competitive perspective, sometimes that is the case. But for a sensitive empath who loves love, it's the thought of losing and missing this person that's in your life that you now
know
integrated
what you
into
just
your
said
life.
in my head? Have you ever seen The Breakup? When
Yes.
like,
many years ago.
she's like, I want you to. He's like, I don't want to do the dishes.
Oh, yeah.
But I want you to want to do. Why would I want to do the dishes?
I want you to want to do yes.
It reminds me of that exactly. It's like, what?
I know.
All right, so I definitely think, man, this is a big growing experience. I'm learning a lot about myself through the course of this show.
Cathartic.
It is a little cathartic, man. I feel like there should be a couch. I should be laying down, talking to somebody. I am talking to somebody, but I think that there's multiple reasons to break up with people.
Yeah.
However, we've talked about some of the worst ways to break up. What are some of the best ways?
Calm, face to face, specific and clear and direct. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't lead them on thinking, well, if you change this, maybe not. If that is your decision, you guys have worked it out, where you've tried everything, nothing is changing, you both are still not happy, the problems are still there that they're your non-negotiables. I think if you're just calm and direct and face to face, I don't see anything wrong with that. Oh, and the location matters too.
It is.
Don't break up with somebody in public.
In Disneyland.
Ever.
Yeah, it's the
In
worst.
Disneyland, at a restaurant. If you go to a restaurant and break up with somebody,
It's like getting fired in public.
you are trash. No, just kidding. But like, don't do that. My sister. Sorry, Jordan. I'm gonna call you out. My sister, Jordan.
Oh, I was like, what?
No, my sister. We were young, but love is love. And they were dating. He takes her out. They go to dinner. She orders chicken fingers and fries. He says, listen, this is going to work out for me, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you took me out to dinner to tell me that you don't want to be with me? And he's like, I'm sorry, I just didn't know how else to do it. She left her chicken fingers, which is a big part of the story because she loves food. She left them there, called me, came and picked her up in the rain. Don't ever break up with... I'm still salty about that, Steve. Don't ever break up with somebody in a restaurant or in a public place.
Fucked up, buddy. We got a good super chat from Larry. He says, Larry Newbill, thank you for the awesome super chat. He says, I feel like this is a late night talk show mixed with the old dating shows that used to come on late at night back in the early 2000s, Blind Date, Third Wheel, and Cheaters. Love you guys. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Larry.
Which one was the Jenny McCarthy one?
Singled Out. With Chris Hardwick?
Yeah.
Yeah, Singled Out.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, we would be like Jenny McCarthy and Chris Hardwick. Well, we're not hooking people up, though. Here's you were speaking of that story. I had another question for you, and this is, I just thought about this as you were speaking. Do you think breakups are premeditated or spontaneous?
Always premeditated.
I know, it's like murder, right? Mm-hmm. For the most part.
Well, because you
I've
have to give
never
it
murdered
thought.
anybody.
It's an important decision, right?
Right.
It's a very important decision. So it's not
Just saying I didn't kill anybody. Just saying, premeditated.
I think if you break up during a fight and it's impulsive, then that's when you get back together. You're like, I didn't mean what I said. But I think in all of my breakups have been like months. Like I'm already checked out months in advance.
Yeah, same. And I think that you kind of know in your head that it's almost kind of like
I like to be sure, and I want to know I'm sure,
you know
and that
like?
takes me months.
It's like watching a TV show that you think is really good, and then it starts getting really shitty, and you're like, I'm just looking for a point to leave. Like,
yes.
The Walking Dead. When Rick died, I was done. I knew I was done, and that was over.
Yeah.
Or when Rick left, died, whatever he did, I was done. And I knew that was my breakup with the show. And that was my thing of like, all right, it's not me, it's you. Kind of a deal. And I think that, listen, the closest thing you're going to get to a breakup is a show or a sports team that you really like. And then you finally realize, man, they really do suck. And it's like, is it them? Is it me for supporting them? Mm. But then you got to see it through sometimes. But
yeah, you do.
Breaking up in public, never a good idea.
Never. Why? I can understand from
unless
a young
you like
man's,
scenes.
That's the thing. Like you just have to hold. I think it's a cowardly thing to do because I think that
it is
person.
Definitely a cowardly thing to do.
Unless you really in your head, like me, just hey, driving a snowstorm to me, thinking that's fine. I really do think their intentions are probably listen. I want to treat you at least one last time. I don't want you to come over and then, like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're just assholes and they just, or it's a cowardly thing to do because they know you can't be 100% authentic. You have to hold in your tears and you're like, I need to use the restroom. You know what I mean?
Blackwing says that that's him with Supergirl right now, the show. So, and it is very much like watching a show because you think, all right, this next episode, it's like going out on a date.
Yeah.
If this episode is good, I can stick around for another one.
But then the whole season sucks.
The whole season sucks. You're like, I just wasted my whole life on this stupid show. God.
But it was so good.
Thanks, Lost.
It was so good in the beginning. The pilot episode was so good.
No, but I think that it's very interesting though the mentality you kind of have to have. It's almost like you said. I think that scar analogy or scat. Yeah, I think that's a really good analogy. Mainly because you have this mindset that you're either going to go into it with the intention of, so you can't. Listen. It's almost like delivering bad. It is delivering bad news to somebody being like, all right, when's the right time for this? And then you got to be like, all right, it must feel like the opposite of proposing. I guess.
I'm sure it is. It is the opposite of proposing.
It's the exact opposite of proposing, I guess. When's the right time for this?
Yeah.
I don't know when the right time. And then it's like in your head, and if they're having a great time, it's like, well, I got to end this sometime.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really inevitable, and then you don't want to go on another day because you don't want to spend the money. You're trying to be frugal. You know what I mean?
What's your worst breakup reaction?
Mine?
Yeah. Like what, from you or from the person that you broke up with?
I think my worst reaction was like, okay.
No, but breaking up with somebody else. What was their worst reaction? Was it a scene? Was it crying?
Yeah,
was it
I don't.
throwing?
So that's why I don't like breaking up with people though, because I don't.
You're scarred.
Well, no, because it sucks, and it's like then you feel like a pile of shit.
Yeah, you do.
So it's kind of. I remember when my ex-girlfriend, she was like, all right, and I told her like, hey, I don't think this is working out, and she was like, oh, we can work on this. I was like, I don't think we can.
That's the worst.
And then it's like, well, can we at least try? And it's like, what do you think we've been doing?
Yeah,
fucking,
right.
What do you call that?
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of like, well, you don't care. And it's like, no, it's not that I don't care. I should have said, though, thinking, oh, man, like I went back in time to talk to young Daniel. I wish there was a young me I could go talk to. Where I should have just said, I should have said something to the effect of, like, it's just, I don't know. Actually, I lost the thought. The thought's gone.
What would you have said? Because
I don't know, honestly. I did lose the
said?
thought. I did lose the thought. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think I would have said something along the lines of like, it's on me. Like it's all my responsibility. If I lost the love of my life, then it's on me. It's not on you.
Fair enough. Okay.
So that way they can kind of feel a little their head higher. But at the same time, maybe some of that is true though. Maybe I did lose the love of my life through a breakup.
Maybe you did. I still feel like I feel
I
like there's
love
some
money.
weird
Just
thing
kidding.
with you and your ex. I think there's some attachment
I don't think
there.
so. I really don't. I think I hurt her pretty bad.
But you guys still talk. You still hang out. You still bring her up on the show. I think you guys will eventually get back together. Just hear me out.
No, I don't think so.
It's gonna happen.
That's probably not gonna happen.
Mark my word.
We're friends. We are friends. We're friends. But like, I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Did you ever hear the quote? If you and your ex are still friends, it's not over.
No, that's not true. 'Cause I'm still friends with like a lot of my exes. Like I'm still pretty good. Not really good friends, but friends. Wait, time out. Time out. Are you saying it's a bad thing?
I'm saying there's a gut intuition feeling in my body that you
Here's the
have
deal.
heartstrings attached to her.
Here's the deal, Heidenreich. I think that just because something didn't work out on a romantic level doesn't mean, because obviously I care about people because I care about those people specifically because there had to be a point where I liked them enough to want to take it to another level. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I had to, that like you can't be friends.
Agreed. But the reason you guys broke up was because she wanted more out of the relationship. It wasn't that you weren't happy. It's that you couldn't give her what she wanted, which means the love is still there.
But I think that, I mean, it got pretty nasty towards the end, like, because I honestly did choose, like, when we were broken up, I was going out with another girl, and I said, listen, I'm going to stick this one out. And she was really offended by that. And then we were friendly for a while, even though those two girls hated each other. Then we were friends again. And then there was that whole thing when we went out to like lunch, and she was like, "Hey, let's go to Portland." And I was like, "Why? No, that's stupid. Like, why would I go to Portland with you? You're my ex-girlfriend. That's weird." Guys, it is weird though, right?
Because you were dating somebody else.
Though.
If you weren't dating somebody else, you'd be like, "Yeah, when are we going?" True. You would be like, "I'm already packed and ready."
I mean, maybe, but
100%.
it is kind of weird though, right? Would you randomly be like, "Hey"? Let's just say you were single, and would you or let's say that you two weren't together, right?
Right.
And Jordan's like, "Hey, I'm going up to Georgia. You want to go just as friends?" Would you be like, "All right, cool," or would you be like, "Nah, I'm
Am
good."
I single?
Yeah.
And he's paying for it?
What does that mean? Oh, okay. I thought we had another call.
And he's paying for it?
Yeah. Well, no, she wasn't
Probably.
gonna pay for it. Come on.
Wait, how close was
That's
the
my
breakup?
test. Hey, let's see. Are you gonna reach for the bill? All right, you're not. We're good. I'm good.
I'm just saying, like, how much commitment do I have to make in this trip? And how recent was the breakup?
You think I had all these questions when I was dealing with this
How
issue?
recent? Was it a year ago? Then no, I'm not going to fucking Georgia with you. If it was like a
It was
few
like a
months
couple
ago
years.
and I miss
Say
you.
it's a couple years.
Nah.
Yeah, see? Oh, well, I'm the bad guy. Yeah, a couple years had passed.
Listen, I'm not saying you're the bad guy. I'm saying you're still in love with her, and it's probably going to always be that way.
She is a great person.
That's such a messed up thing to say. I
She is
think
a great
you guys
person.
are going to get
No,
back together.
I don't think so. I don't think it's in the cards.
Let us know in the comments because I feel it.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna tell her to come on the show.
I've been dying to have your ex on the show.
It's gonna be that. Is
You say
literally
this
the
every
worst
time.
idea.
You actually
it's
do
literally
want it
the
to
worst idea
happen.
though. It's not a good idea.
It is a great idea.
No, because I feel like
That's
it's
good
gonna,
TV, right, people?
It's not. First of all, we're not on TV.
It will be. So help us get on TV.
I think it's a terrible idea, honestly. I just think that it's almost kind of like one of those things where I'm going to need more than just one glass of wine.
Oh, I'm sure you'll have that whole enough can of vodka
And
sitting
I
there
need
with a straw in it.
I need enough can of vodka. I need a fucking line of cocaine. I need a lot to get through
Cocaine.
that episode.
Shrooms.
Shrooms?
That's what we should do. You should be on Shrooms interviewing her.
That's a terrible idea. As the room is spinning, I'm
Yeah.
like, what dimension are we in?
You're like, you
Bring
look
young
like a-
Daniel back on my time monitor.
You're like, your head's a kaleidoscope. Should be like, anyway.
All right, so we went over the we more so made jokes about breakups, but they're no joking matters. They can be sometimes.
No,
if you
they
write
hurt
Canada
and they
text message.
suck, but you learn a lot. And also, that's the risk you take when you fall in love. Like, listen, I remember being a kid watching Boy Meets World. Remember that Sean and Angie? Remember when they used to date Angie? The braids. She was dating Sean. Whatever. Long story short, they broke up.
I know Topanga and Corey.
Of course. But the other one, Sean was dating, I think her name was Angie. Anyways, she was just like, I'm afraid to get back together. I'm afraid of getting hurt. And I remember as a kid being like, that's the stupidest thing ever. If you guys like each other, just date. Like, I didn't understand. And then now as an adult, I'm kind of like, oh, I get it. But you just have to, that's part of it. Like, that's the risk you take when you enter a relationship. It's like anything. It's like a business venture, you know?
It is. It is really like
You got to
business
take a
venture.
risk in order to, like, get where you want to be. So it's the same thing with love. And you just got to jump in and see what happens and try your best and learn from it. But breakups don't last forever. They usually, for me, they've always been,
No, they absolutely last forever.
I mean, yeah, fundamentally they last forever. Emotionally, they do not last forever. Meaning, if you date for a year, for me, it took me about 6 months to get over you. If we dated a year and a half, we're
You
looking
know
at
why?
8.
I've done the math here on this. This is a real thing.
It's
Actually,
usually
that's
half
a
of
real
what
thing.
you
It's
date.
half of the time you date. That's actually a real
Yeah.
thing. So, like, if you I dated a girl for like 5 years, and even in that 2.5 years, it was still like a struggle. And
Of course.
even in between dating other girls, it would always go back to that. It's rebound relationships can either be the best or worst things in life, or both,
Yep.
like an Oreo cookie.
100%. What are some bad ways to deal with a breakup?
Drinking a shit ton of alcohol.
Agreed.
Would probably be one. What are some other drugs?
Hooking up with people, drugs.
Yeah, hooking up with people was
Hooking up
probably
with
one.
people does not help. I'm just gonna be straight up.
It kind of helps.
Does
It
not help.
helps. It helps in the short term.
Yeah, and then after that, you're like, wow, now I feel like double crap.
Well, do you though?
Yeah, I do. It's like, wow, I miss this person, and I don't know who the heck you were.
I don't think it. I don't look at it like that.
Oh, maybe women are wired
I
different.
don't know. I think that's kind of like a different scenario because I think that I think you finally hit a point where you just don't care.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're never gonna not hook up. I'm saying you get broken up with, and a way to cope with it is going out and looking for somebody to hook up
Well,
with.
what's the best way to handle it? A fucking bowl of ice cream? That doesn't work either.
It sure does.
It does not.
Here's my healthy outlets, the healthy ones. Talk to your friends. Talk to your family. If you do need a night out, have a night out.
Have a lot of nights out.
Have a reasonable amount of nights out. Don't drink too much.
Spend
Don't drink
all
at
of your
all.
money.
Don't spend any of your money.
Most of
Don't
it.
do impulsive haircuts
You
or
gotta
tattoos.
hit Vegas at least once. At least once.
Don't cut your hair off. Don't get a tattoo.
Admit that you have to go to Vegas at least once in a breakup.
I'll give you that. I'll give you Vegas. There's a special magic about Vegas that I'm not going to deny.
It's called fun and debauchery, I
It's
think.
something that's just it's the adult bubble of it's like the Disneyland for adults.
It's 100% like the Disneyland for adults.
You get free reign to do whatever you want, but wait till
Whoa,
you're ready.
whoa. Almost whatever you want. If you pay the right person, I guess, you can get whatever you want.
That's right.
I think that this conversation is amazing, but I also think that we've kind of come to an end.
Yeah, I think so.
We have learned a lot about the mysterious breakup, and that is try to do it right. If you don't do it right, have a lot of fun after.
Yeah. Do it right and do it when you're ready, and don't apologize for how you feel because that's it. That's how you feel.
It's how you feel. The heart's the heart. The
Heart
heart
wants
wants
what
what
it
the heart
wants.
wants. There you go. But I think that that's how you get through a breakup. Any final thoughts on the breakup for any advice? Because you know what the next one should be?
What?
Rebound relationships.
Well, that would actually be a great story to tell.
Yeah, this is going to be a good episode.
I've got one of those. Okay.
Rebound relationships?
Yeah.
All right. So
It's
that
called a marriage that I'm entering. Jordan was a total rebound.
from Tilke?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Get out of here.
He wasn't a rebound. Yes, we'll get into that. Yes,
Oh
he was.
man, that was like a teaser right there. That was like one of those teasers there. Well, stay tuned for the next episode to find out how Jordan and Jessica met. I guess that's all about rebounds.
good
But I
story.
think rebound relationships. I have some decent ones too. I'm not proud of those though. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I'm not proud of most of mine.
Oh man, yeah, I'm really not. But
Actually, yeah, mine were. Yeah, okay, got it.
they're gonna make for good talks.
Oh, we'll see next week.
Yes, we'll see you next week. Final thoughts? Nothing.
Final thoughts would be deal with it in a healthy way also, and give yourself time to cry and like really just like let it pass. Don't try to cover it up. Like just sit in it, do things that make you happy, and then just let it pass. Feelings are really intense sometimes for me, and so just give yourself time to heal.
Final thoughts. I would say I agree 100% what she said. Don't be afraid of it though.
Yes.
Just know that eventually, if you have to do it and you feel it's coming, there's not a reason. There shouldn't be a reason not to. Don't talk yourself out of it. Because if you already know something's wrong and it's not working out, chances are it's not going to get any better, no matter what you tell yourself.
Yeah.
And listen to your friends, because your friends are actually looking at this for your best interest, not to be dicks about it.
100%. And you're just making room for the person that should be there. Just look
Yeah.
at it that way.
Because I honestly do feel like your friends are your best judge of characters, and your family, I guess, because they know you the
Oh,
best.
yeah.
And you're looking at it through this kind of like lens of
Rose-colored glasses.
rose-colored. Yeah, exactly. This kind of lens of love, but also hurt and all. There's a lot of things going on in your head.
Yes.
You can't trust yourself. Don't trust yourself. Trust the
Yes.
people around you.
And if you say our love is different, it's not different.
Yeah,
They
man.
know exactly what is good for you.
I want to thank all you guys for joining us. This was a good talk tonight, guys. You guys were very active in the chat, so I appreciate it.
Thanks,
If you
guys.
want to ask Jessica your relationship questions, hit us up at fanquestions at #show.com. We will put those on our website as well. It'll be like our Dear Jessica section of our website. She will
I'll try
answer
my best.
what she can, and I'll chime in, and we'll read some of these on the show. But next week, rebounds, and we're not talking about the NBA. We are going to be talking about your relationship needs. But guys, that's going to do it for us. Jessica, where can everybody find you on social media?
You guys can find me at Jess_Heidenreich and Twitter J_Bojangles.
You can find me at that #Joe. And you can also find us, not us, but the Riverdale cast tomorrow, talking about that, and Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Riverdale. And you can find me on the Superhero News Network on Thursday. But you can also find me at that hashtag Joe on all social media. And check out our website, thathashtagshow.com. But that's going to do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending
In geek pop culture.